It's December tomorrow, and you know what that means? It's Christmas! Hello and welcome back to the channel, and yes, it is December tomorrow if you're watching this at the time of release, and if you're not, it's already December or long past it. But I'm kicking this year's kind of Christmas festive beer theme off with a good look at this from Northern Monk. Now, those of you who've been around the craft beer scene for a while will probably recognise this and say, Tom, that's not new or interesting, why are you looking at it? But actually, weirdly, I've never had it. Despite this festive start, a 5.2% vanilla, cinnamon and chocolate porter from Northern Monk being on my kind of short list of things to review for Christmas for the past few years, well, I've just never got my hands on it. I think it even went into supermarkets in the UK at one point. I think it was last year, but I never found it, never got one. But I have finally today, and well, I think it's an important kind of beer, not necessarily the beer itself, but well, Northern Monk, in my opinion, have long been one of the best UK supermarket craft beer options. That is until about the last 6 to 9 months, where everything new I've had from them, what has been pretty dire. I can't say what this is like compared to previous years because, as I said, I've never had it, but it's one they've been producing a while, so let's hopefully see that they are definitely still capable and have just made some slightly poor choices, at least from my point of view. Other people may, of course, have loved them, but yeah, for me, they've been losing their way just a little bit. But I'm hoping that that is not the case here today. As I said, vanilla, cinnamon and chocolate porter at 5.2%. Little dinky 330ml can. Not sure why that is, because they'll happily sell you a 12% impy in a 440ml can, but it is what it is. Maybe it is very flavourful and therefore a 330 is just the right amount. I'm not going to read any of the info on the back there, but well, I will later. But before we get into it, here is a quick look at the can. Northern Monk Festive Style. It's a nice looking thing, has to be said. I'm going to go on a whim and say this is a spin-off of their Northern Star chocolate porter, which actually is one of my favourite supermarket dark beers at this point in time, or at least it was last time I tried it. I do have a new can in the fridge, but not had it for a little while. But let's get in to this one. Nice, very dark, as you would expect, but properly dark beer. Right then, well, in the glass, it does look the business maybe a little thin, but it is a porter around 5%, so we're not expecting the world in terms of, you know, depthly kind of rich and thick liquid here. In front of the light, yep, it's a jet black beer. There's no light bleed through at all. To be honest, the head looks really good on it. If you ever take a look at that, it is kind of nice, kind of very light coffee coloured head almost. Yeah, it does look the business. Right then, but how does it smell? Okay, I feel like this is a retribution arc for Northern Monk in my mind at this point in time. That is nice, big, rich, chocolatey. The vanilla's coming through. You get the base roasty elements from the beer itself. There's a little bit of a coffee hit to it, which as a result, chocolate, vanilla, coffee, we're very much in like a mocha vibe, but that cinnamon is just there. It's underlying. Underlying is probably a bit harsh. It is quite present, but it's not overpowering as cinnamon often is. It's got this real, just kind of nice additional, it's used as a seasoning rather than a core flavour, at least on the aroma, and it's just stringing it all together to make something that's distinctly quite rich, quite decadent, but also, yeah, a little bit of festive flair. The aroma, absolutely spot on. Really enjoying that as well. We are kicking off Christmas with a fantastic start, and of course with a fantastic jumper. The Star Wars Christmas jumper coming out to play for the first Christmas video of 2023. But let's get into this beer. Cheers. I was a little bit worried about this, not just because of what I said about Northern Monk before, but actually I don't like cinnamon, not really. I'm not entirely averse to it. A little bit of it here and there is fine, but cinnamon heavy things I don't get on with. And I thought this might just be that. but it really, really isn't. It is very, very nice, and the flavour is very similar to the aroma in that distinctly chocolatey all throughout. You've got that cinnamon bit stringing everything together. And whilst the vanilla element is there, it doesn't feel like it's producing much of its own flavour, whereas it's really just kind of levelling off a few of the others. Chocolate and vanilla go very well together. It can stop the chocolate being too rich, and of course vanilla and the cinnamon together stops the cinnamon from being over the top as well. But what is in here that wasn't on the aroma, and as far as I know isn't on the can unless it's hidden away on the back, which we'll find out in a minute, is that it's delivering this slightly richer fruity vibe. I'm getting quite a chocolate tart with fruit and kind of a bit of cinnamon sugar over the top kind of vibe from it. It is very, very nice indeed. It's yeah, it's a shame it's only a 330ml can, which means I'm going to have to do the top to bottom taste test right now, because otherwise, well, yeah, it's all going to disappear very quickly. So, right on the tip of the tongue, slightly sharp, mildly bitter, and that's actually where that kind of fruity edge bit I was just talking about starts to come in. If you imagine, well, just unsweetened berries and that kind of thing, yeah, very much there. Incidentally, Northern Monk did, and it was the last beer I had on the channel from them, the Black Forest Gatto Stout, which I'll be honest, I hated. I thought it was awful. Yes, it was very cherry forward rather than a lot of other fruits, which I guess Black Forest Gatto is, but there are other fruits in there, and this feels somehow akin to a Black Forest Gatto style beer, but, well, it's just better, to be honest. It is just heaps better, heaps more interesting, and heaps less, well, god awful. Let's get on with it then. On to the first kind of third of the tongue. Bit of chocolate, a few hints of coffee, nice, sweet, vanilla thing just kind of cutting over the top of it all. You really do have to dig around a little bit for the vanilla, and I have to say, I've left this can out for a while, but actually it's cold here today. It's really cold, and I've not had the heating on yet because, well, no good reason, it's just really expensive, so I haven't bothered yet because I've been wearing clothes. Anyway, that makes it sound like when I have the heating on I don't wear clothes.
Oh yeah, full Winnie the Pooh.
Anyway, it's warmed up, but it's not warm. It's probably 12 degrees. It could go a bit higher, but in this state it is at the minute. Like I say, the vanilla is not too pronounced, but it's causing this nice kind of adhesion to everything that makes it feel like nice and fluid, and just one happy family of everything under that vanilla umbrella. Vanilla umbrella. Vanilla umbrella would be a great album name. Anyway, onto the mid palate. That fruity notes come back in with quite a bit of cinnamon. They're having a little dance together. Few hints potentially of that coffee note from the aroma, but it's subtle and leaning to more kind of, you know, fruity, slightly more obscure coffees. It's not big, deep, roasty. Very nice though, all the same. Then onto the back of the tongue. Everything comes back together really. Hints of chocolate, cinnamon, fruitiness, bit of coffee, vanilla, all just coming together. Again, it's beautiful, which is why you end up with that kind of, you know, fruited chocolate tart thing that I was talking about before, because it all just unifies in one mouthful to a distinct kind of set of flavours all at the same time. And then on the aftertaste, another bit of a bitter bite, bit of a fruity spritz, quite clean, certainly not cloying. And that bitterness actually dries the mouth out a bit, gets you ready for another sip, and you're left with just this hint, the hint of cinnamon, the hint of heat, a little bit of spice, but it's not too much. It's perfectly, well, just pleasant, and well, that's coming from someone who doesn't really like cinnamon, so yes, massive thumbs up for this one. It is very, very nice indeed. I do know at the time of recording, this was no longer for sale on Northern Monk's website. They'd sold out of it, but lots of other bottle shops do have it, so give it a quick Google and I'm sure you'll find somewhere near you that you can buy it. However, before we wrap this up, let's take a quick look at the can. So on the front it says Northern Monk Festive Start, a vanilla, cinnamon and chocolate porter at 5.2%. And then on the back, Festive Start again, sweet, spiced and all things nice. Fair, it says our Northern Star with a party hat, so it is based on Northern Star, a silky porter with chocolate, vanilla and cinnamon to get you into the festive spirit. Brewing beer since 2013, always fresh from north. Is there anything else on here? What are the ingredients? It's 5.2%, 1.7 UK units. Ingredients are water, malted barley, lactose. It's a lactose beer, which is probably where some of that vanilla-y goodness is coming from. Cinnamon, chocolate essence, vanilla essence, hops, and yeast. Mouth feels good. Could be better, but it's certainly not bad. It's not a really particularly expensive beer, as I recall. Yeah, it's on the one hand, it's a run-of-the-mill, adjunct-filled, festive beer, dark beer, with a reasonable price tag and a reasonable ABV. But so many of those are so lackluster that actually I really think it's a standout. I think this is fantastic, and whatever it is that they managed to do with that Northern Star and as a result the Festive Star, and they need to start doing in the rest of their new beers, because they are just leaps and bounds ahead of anything new I've had from them recently. But yes, again, massive thumbs up for that one. Go try it, and if you have, let me know in the comments below, what did you think? Will you be seeking it out? And are there any other festive beers I should be checking out this time of year from Northern Monk, or anyone else for that matter? And that really is all I've got to say about it. So as always, thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like it if you haven't already subscribed, if you would be so kind, and I'll catch you next time. Cheers.